Letter to Loretta, starring Loretta Young.
Dear Loretta, my boyfriend is a doll, a real doll. Except for one thing. He is so stubborn about silly, unimportant things. I mean, for instance, he thinks that I get too friendly too quickly. You know, like calling people you meet for the first time honey and darling. And I just think that I'm being nice. And another, for instance, the other night, I was in a telephone booth and a bunch of nickels came pouring out. And do you know, he made me send every one of them back to the telephone company. I just couldn't talk him out of it. Well, maybe it's a principle with him, Gloria. I mean, suppose the situations were reversed, like it actually is in the case of a girl I recently read about in a magazine. Her name is Jenny Tobit, and she teaches night school. Now, in our discussion of this division of power, it must be remembered that our Constitution is a written agreement entered into by the people of the 13 original states and agreed to by the people of the 35 states which have since entered the Union. The national government has delegated or federal powers, and the state government... Excuse me. Oh, Fred, please stop that. This is a public building, you know.
I pay taxes. Let's start filing a joint return this year.
Oh, you dope. If you're asking me to marry you, you can save your breath. I accepted your first proposal a year before you made it. Now, be a good boy and don't bother me anymore, and I'll see you later. Bye. I'm sorry. Now, as I was saying, the state government can do all things other than those provided for in our Constitution. In other words, the national government must show some specific or implied grant of power for everything.
We have gathered here tonight to talk turkey. You all know me. I may be the party leader of this district, but I shall always...
Mr. Gallagher, is it too much to ask you to take your campaign elsewhere?
Miss Tobit, would you deny us our constitutional right of freedom of assembly?
I deny you nothing, except the right to disturb the peace.
Is campaigning for the election of a great man like Mark Mercer disturbing to you?
Disturbing to my class.
Oh, shut up.
Mr. Gallagher, while we're on the subject, your choice of a candidate is as bad as your manners.
Now, see here, Jenny.
No, I'm sorry. But Mark Mercer is fit only to be elected to a place in the Road to Provere section under the title Wealthy Sportsman. Good night.
For Pete's sake, can't you stop correcting those examination papers for a minute? I'm talking about our honeymoon.
And high time. You two should have been married and raising a family long ago.
Grandma, I'm glad you mentioned that. Let's face it, Dopey, I've had my eyes on you since I was 6 years old.
All right, you've waited. We've all waited. You can't build a successful newspaper overnight.
No, of course not.
By the end of the year, the paper should be paying its way. I figure we can set a date in December.
Fine.
Jenny, listen to Fred. He's being romantic.
The trouble with Jenny and me is we know each other too well.
Telephone. Answer someone.
And we've known each other too long.
Oh, not long enough for me.
Only practically from the cradle. Well, every time we hear Rockabye Baby,
Hello?
she says, listen, honey, they're playing our song.
Excuse me. Would you repeat that, please?
Your name was picked out of the telephone book, Miss Tobit. Now, if you answer the jackpot question, you will win our grand final jackpot prize.
It's a quiz show.
Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Here it is. How many children did President Cleveland have, and what were their names?
How many children did President Cleveland have? And what were their names?
Quick, the encyclopedia!
The Cleveland had 5 children, 3 girls and 2 boys. And their names were Ruth, Esther, Marion, Francis, and Richard. Richard Folsom Cleveland. Folsom was his middle name.
Right. Right you are. Madam, you have just won the jackpot prize.
I won!
You won what?
Oh, what did I win?
You won an automobile.
An automobile.
What kind of an automobile?
What kind of an automobile?
A brand new Crescent convertible.
Crescent convertible. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I cannot accept your car.
Jenny.
I said I'm sorry. I cannot accept your Crescent convertible.
Jenny, what are you saying?
Yes, I'd be delighted to tell you why. Because Mark Mercer is a political candidate in this state, and I do not hold with what Mark Mercer represents politically. He also happens to own 3/4 of the stocks of Crescent Motors. And therefore, I feel it my duty to object to his candidacy in whatever manner I can.
Jenny.
Jenny.
My dear Miss Tobit.
Now, in my opinion, Mark Mercer...
May we point out, Miss Tobit,
No? No?
Look, I'm begging.
No. I wouldn't change my mind if I had to go around on a pogo stick.
But a new car, honey. A piece of machinery more beautiful than a human being.
Oh, I know you think I'm an idiot. But I am not going to take that car.
Force yourself.
Now listen to me and try to understand. I've been telling my pupils about the precious privilege of casting a vote. And I refuse to sell my opinion now for an automobile or anything else.
Jenny, you're a walking editorial.
Here's my little letter.
Beg your pardon. Good evening. Miss Jennifer Tobit?
Who are you?
Mark Mercer,
Mark Mercer.
the People's Choice.
Well, this is Fred Brock.
How do you do?
Pleased to meet you.
Won't you come in, Mr. Mercer?
Thank you.
Sit down, Mr. Mercer.
Oh, thank you. Excuse me.
Coffee?
No, thanks. A cigarette?
No, thank you.
Light?
No, thanks. Well, I guess you're wondering why I'm here.
We sure are.
Well, I just wanted to meet in person the young lady who dislikes me so much. I wanted to ask her why she won't accept my car.
Well, since you asked, Mr. Mercer, I'll be explicit.
I'll retract that statement. I think you've been explicit enough in the last few weeks. I'm not equipped, you say, to handle the various problems of my constituents and so forth and so on. You know, now that I see you, Miss Tobit, I'm inclined to believe that you're sincere. And I want to be honest with you.
Oh, Mr. Brock is my fiancé.
Oh, of course.
Fred, why don't you sit down?
No doubt you're aware, Miss Tobit, that you've been a disturbing element in my life. It's quite embarrassing when a company can't give away its product. Not to mention what you've done to my campaign and... Well, to get to the point, just what do I have to do to get you to accept my car?
Take your hat out of the ring.
What?
Don't run for all...
Aren't you being rather naive, my dear girl? I've known many politicians in my time. None of them appeared to be extraordinary.
Well, don't look at me. I wanted to take the car.
After all, what must one know to be a politician?
What about these?
These what?
Books.
Government, history, civics.
Oh? What about them?
Mr. Mercer, may I ask you a personal question?
Well, that might be a pleasant change from your personal remarks. Shoot.
Can you recite the preamble to the Constitution?
Now we're being childish.
Well, can you?
Of course. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, Well, I'll probably think of the rest of it lying in bed tonight. For the moment, you've won a point.
The point is, Mr. Mercer, you don't even know as much as the members of my night class.
Now, just a minute,
And I'm
Miss
awfully
Tobit.
sorry if I've embarrassed you.
Not at all. You'd be surprised at the things I forget.
You'd be surprised at the things I remember. For the sake of my one precious vote, I've taken the trouble to have your record checked. And this is the result. You hunted lions in Africa. You skied in Switzerland. You played polo in America. You had a love affair with a showgirl that barely missed the front page but made good meat for the gossip columns.
Nancy Darson, remember?
Do I remember?
Well, anyway, Crescent Motors was built by your father and has progressed smoothly without your help. And your industrial holdings you inherited.
That's not very nice, Miss Tobit, prying into a man's private life.
Well, unfortunately, a man's private life is no longer private once he has decided to run for public office. Now, will there be anything else?
Yes. When are you going to accept my car? Now, I'm prepared to make it worth your while. We produce a beautiful little custom-built convertible that's really a honey. And you'll get it tax-free.
Take it. Take it.
Of course you're prepared to make it worth my while. But are you prepared to read those books, to know them and understand them and believe them? Are you prepared to feel the responsibility and the dignity of the office to which you aspire?
Are those the conditions under which you will accept the crest?
Yes, they are.
I think I'll take a look at those books. In fact, I think I'll stay in town for a short while. And if you don't mind, Miss Tobit, I think I'll drop in on your night class.
Oh.
No telling what I might pick up. Besides, it might be a welcome change from kissing babies. Good night.
Well, good night.
Tax-free. Take the car, Jenny. It's bread and honey. It's fowl in the pot. Mercer wasn't kidding. A custom-built job with all the trimmings.
It's bribery, Fred. Oh, you poor but dishonest young editor.
Can't you see what I see, honey? A plot of ground, a little white house, and a big white garage, our garage, and in it a snazzy Crescent 8. My bus is 8 years old.
Oh, Fred. If you ever had an ideal, it'd die of loneliness. How am I ever going to set you straight, huh?
Love, patience, understanding, and taking that 8-cylinder dreamboat.
No.
Oh, good evening, teacher.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mercer.
Hi, Miss Brock.
Good evening.
Can you name the order of the presidential succession? Mr. Mercer.
Of course. In case the President of the United States should die, the Vice President would automatically assume the office.
Yes. Go on.
Go on.
Yes. I mean, should the Vice President die?
Oh, of course. If the Vice President should die, the most important man would actually, let's see, that would be the Army, Navy, Marine Corps.
Yes, Miss Frida Foss.
Vice President, Speaker of the House, President Pro Tem of the Senate, Secretary of the State, Treasury Defense, Attorney General, Postmaster General, Secretary of the Interior, Agriculture, Commerce, and Labor.
Very good, Miss Frida Foss. Oh, no. That's a wonderful story.
Hi.
Hi,
Brock.
Fred.
What were you two talking about?
Taxes?
What's so funny about taxes?
What? Never mind. Can anyone tell me the function of the Electoral College? How about you, Miss Frida Foss?
Well, it has to do with voting, I think. I'm not sure.
Yes, Mr. Mercer.
The Electoral College is a state body consisting of as many members as the number of states' representatives in both houses of Congress, combined together to act as intermediaries in the casting of ballots in a presidential election.
Excellent, Mr. Mercer.
Recess time.
Oh, hi, Fred. Still mad?
Nah, so you had dinner with Mark Mercer, so what?
You're a good boy.
Was it fun?
It was very interesting.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure, interesting. Well, all I want to know is when you're going to take that gorgeous carriage and let Prince Charming go fly a pumpkin.
Pretty soon now. You know, he's a very intelligent pupil. And he's trying awfully hard to learn as much as he possibly can.
Okay, okay. Let's forget about teacher's pet for a while, hmm?
Oh, Fred.
Say, they've got a new band over at the Roadhouse,
Have they?
and I've got a little something to discuss with you.
What is it? Tell me.
I'd rather save it for tonight.
Oh, tonight. Oh, I'm sorry, Fred.
Sorry about what?
Well, you see, I promised Mark there's this lecture tonight.
Mark?
Yeah.
Lecture on a Saturday night?
Yeah, and I promised him.
Well, naturally, you've got to go.
Well, you don't mind, do you?
Of course not. I know how sacred promises are to politicians.
Oh, Fred, it's just that I feel I can do something for him, that's all. Oh, dopey. One more dance and I'd have needed a new pair of legs. Oh, my head is spinning.
Champagne cocktails become you.
Well, thank you, Mark, and good night. Please don't.
It's that dress you're wearing. Reminds me of moonlight and roses and young love.
Well, it reminds me of the nickels and dimes I saved to get it.
We'll have to do this again, Jenny.
Yes, we will. Good night, Mark.
Good night. Hello.
Oh, Fred!
He's right, champagne cocktails do become you.
Oh, you poor darling. How long you been sitting there?
Oh, not long. I didn't mean to pry.
Oh, I'm sorry about what just happened.
He'd be a sucker if he didn't try.
Look, you don't think I wanted him to, do you?
Well, of course not. It's just that you went to a lecture and you found it stimulating.
Oh, well, the lecture was postponed till next Saturday night.
Well, when you go, drink a few toasts to an old acquaintance.
She was crying this morning. And then she came downstairs, calm and collected as you please, and called Mark Mercer at the hotel.
She did?
She told him she was going to put him to a test. And if he passed the test, she was going to accept the car.
Well?
She gave him the test an hour ago.
Well?
He passed with flying colors.
I didn't tell you, Grandma, but I'm leaving town.
A trip?
A long one. I'm selling the Chronicle.
Can't stand competition, eh?
I'm just hanging around to see the excitement when Miss American Dream climbs aboard the Mercer bandwagon.
You won't have long to wait. The car is being delivered this afternoon.
What do you think of Mr. Mercer's chances for election?
Well, if folks have any regard for good intentions, I think he's a cinch.
One more picture as you give her the keys to the car, Mr. Mercer.
Sure. I want to thank you, Jenny,
For what?
for what you taught me.
Oh, I didn't write the books, Mark.
Well, what I learned wasn't in the books. To be true to yourself and strong in the truth.
Oh.
I won't let you down, Jenny.
Thank you.
you doing here?
Well, I work here.
On Saturday morning?
Well, I asked Todd Griswold to meet me here.
Well, that's funny. He asked me to meet him here. Left a message. What kind of business have you got with Todd Griswold?
Oh, he's the broker on the sale of a newspaper.
Yeah. My newspaper.
That's right. And I'm the purchaser.
You?
Mm-hmm. I thought it was a good way to invest my $3,000.
What, 3,000?
The $3,000 I got for selling my car.
Well, what do you mean?
Now all I need is an editor. But then that's nothing new. I've always needed him.
You think you can buy me for a few paltry bucks?
Can't I?
We'll talk about it over a pineapple soda. Let's go.
What about Todd Griswold?
He'll just have to keep his nose out of our family affairs.
You know, I've just been wondering how many of us would have been as strong in our principles as Jenny was. Yes, Gloria, even stubborn. I think your beau might be. I heard a wonderful definition the other day of a good marriage. The husband makes up the deficiencies in the wife, and the wife makes up the deficiencies in the husband, implying, of course, that alone, neither one is perfect. And it seems to me, according to this definition, that your beau with his principles and you with your great warmth should make a wonderful combination. A good marriage. Now come one step closer with me, Gloria. Whoever keeps the whole law but offends in one point has become guilty in all, from the book of James. You see? You had to send those nickels back.